Welcome back to another episode of Financial Fridays. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Don't forget to hit the bell and subscribe so you won't miss a thing. Can you guess what topic we're going to discuss today? I'll give you a hint. Yes, we are going to talk about insurance with none other than Mr. Insurance himself, Brenton Hilaire, who is the agency manager of Sagicor Life Dominica, who happens to be the sponsor for this episode. Welcome, Brenton, to Finance Focus.
Thank you for having me, and hi to all of your fans and your subscribers.
It's a pleasure to have you here today to talk about, of course, insurance. How many insurance policies do you have?
Wow, you're getting right into it. The last time I checked, I had about 10 policies.
Wow. So, how much are you insured for?
Let's just say it's over 1 million.
We call you Mr. Insurance because once we see you, we know what you're going to talk about. Can you tell us how long you've been in the insurance industry?
I've been in the business for about 12 years now with experience in both sales and administration. So I can speak to you with knowledge of what happens in the front and the back end of the company.
But the concept of insurance dates back many centuries.
That's correct.
Some of us have limited knowledge of insurance, but we hold policies. Can you tell us a triggering event that led to the creation of insurance?
Wow. So, as you mentioned, several centuries ago, and what was happening was that when death occurred, it created financial hardships for the dependents of the person who passed away. So, back then, they were looking for a way to sort of reduce the financial loss that occurred as a result of death. And there came the emergence of what you would have called guilds and societies where people would have contributed some amount towards it so that in the event of death, someone would receive some funds to assist them with that financial hardship. Now, when it was set up back then like that, there was no science behind of it. It was just the need arose and they found some way to sort of assist. Fast forward to present times. We have the development of the mortality table, the concept of compound interest. So that concept from before was able to be developed further into what we now know as insurance.
So, with the creation of all these mortality tables and concepts surrounding insurance, there's still limited knowledge. And some people believe that insurance is a scam because you're paying something with no guarantee of really getting anything back. This is what leads to the many myths surrounding insurance. And I'd like you to address a few of them. What do you think about the statement, I don't need insurance, God will provide?
I believe that God will provide you with a form of employment to be able to afford insurance. So He is our assurance, and insurance comes into play with that.
So I need to be insured with assurance?
Yes.
What about this other statement where they say, I cannot afford insurance. It's too expensive.
Research has actually shown that the majority of people overestimate the cost of insurance by over 3 times. So oftentimes when I meet with individuals and I actually show them a proposal, they're actually shocked at how affordable it is. So we should really have that conversation first before just assuming or going based on hearsay.
You make a really good point because when I first learned about insurance, I too thought it was expensive. But after meeting with an advisor, I realized that it was indeed affordable at my age.
That's correct.
Many youth believe that insurance is a want because they're young, they're strong, they're healthy, they don't really have a need for it right now. They can spend money on other things like saving, traveling, and partying. I too felt like that in my youth. But what would you tell a youth that is leaving college right now, enter into the field of work? How would you convince them that insurance is a need?
Sometimes when you actually live in school, depending on how you financed your way through school, it can be considered a need because you may have had a student loan where you have a guarantor attached to that student loan. So what if you passed away while there was a balance left? So insurance could be seen as a need in that aspect to protect the guarantor from having to take up that responsibility. And it's good to plan early sometimes. So, I mean, outside of just going to school, a young person who may not have any children may say that they don't need insurance because their parents are okay, their siblings are okay. But it could so happen that life provides you with a child 10 years from now. So you may not have had a need at this present time, but the need could arise in the future. And if you took action right now at this present age, the premiums will be more affordable. So it could be seen as planning early for what's going to happen in the future.
So you've now convinced me and us that insurance is a need.
Great.
But my question to you is, given that it's a need, how much life insurance do I need?
To make it simple, research has been done on that topic. And there's actually a formula that was arrived at based on research. And the simple formula is you should insure yourself for at least 10 times of your annual income, to keep it simple. It sounds like you need to do a review.
Well, in that case, how can I upgrade my policy?
In terms of the insurance product itself, if you have had your policy for less than 12 months, you're able to increase the insurance coverage. We call it the sum insured. However, outside of that, you would have to take another policy to increase that coverage.
You mentioned that you have 10 policies. Are they all with Sagicor?
Is that a question? Of course.
Well, that's great. So in that case, can you tell us some of the life insurance products that are available at Sagicor?
So we have several different products, each of them designed to meet a different need of the people that we meet. So we have the standard life insurance coverage plans, which would be in the form of term life insurance or whole life plans. We have endowment plans, which seek to give you a lump sum of money in the long run to help you towards your long-term financial planning. We have critical illness plans, which helps to replace your income if you become critically ill. We have health insurance plans. We have annuities to help with retirement planning, and the list could go on.
The list goes on. You named a few of them, and I actually have 3 of them,
Oh,
and I recently applied for a 4th.
wow.
I'm getting covered.
You're close to my number.
Share with us the difference between the whole life and term life insurance. What are some of the benefits, uses of those?
Term life is often seen as the most economical version of coverage. And with this plan, it focuses primarily on those who will remain if you were to pass away. So with this plan, your priority is on ensuring that should you pass away, my family will be in a stable, safe, strong financial position. Now, the drawback of that plan is that there isn't any cash value component where you will receive some funds in the long term if you are still alive. So it offers you that peace of mind for a very reasonable amount. Now, with whole life coverage goes up to the age of 100. And with this plan, what you find is that, yes, it offers you this peace of mind that in case something happens to you, your family is financially okay. But at the same time, what if you live to see a very old age? So it ensures that there is some form of cash value attached to the plan where you can actually tap into it in the long run when you reach retirement, for example, or you reach the age of 100, or even before that, if there is some sort of financial emergency that you have access to some of those funds on the policy. So that comes at an increased amount, but it's really up to the individual in terms of what their priority is.
It's similar to the one that I have because I actually have a policy that has a cash value attached, and it has benefited me in that I took a loan against it to finance some of my degree.
Yes, and that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Sounds like a financially focused coverage, if you ask me. So let's say that I move out of the country. I have 4 insurance policies with Sagicor. How does that affect my policies?
It affects it in no way. Once you continue to make payments towards your policies, then we have to honor the obligation when that time comes. And thankfully, right now we have our mobile app that allows you to pay via debit or credit card wherever you are. And we also have our online web portal, which allows you to make similar payments to your policies. So wherever you are, you can still stay in touch with us.
But sometimes life happens. Under what circumstances can I cancel my policy?
You should never, and you should never too. There is a saying that goes, when life becomes difficult, is when you have to keep that policy. Because think about it, in a financial crisis or in hard economic times, you are maybe under some stress with your income, trying to make ends meet, and you have a family to take care of. So that family is depending on you to make sure that you see them through. Now, if you cancel that policy and something happens, like you said, life happens, and you're no longer here, they were already struggling while you were around. So what would happen to them when you're not here? That is 100% of your income gone. So do you really want to think about canceling that policy?
I'm happy that you said, some of them may be struggling. What advice would you give to individuals who have limited income and need insurance but cannot afford it?
Okay, the advice that I would give is to not just assume that you cannot afford it, but to come in and have a conversation with one of our advisors who can understand what your goals are, understand your priorities, and see how we can work with you to address them. Because, as I mentioned, we have several products available. We also have products that can cater to people in the quote unquote low income category. So it's not about doing everything one time. Sometimes it's about covering your foundation, making sure that you have some form of coverage because some is better than none, and then you work your way up as things improve in the future.
So, guys, will you be covered? This brings us to the end of part one of the insurance series. Tune in next week for part two, where we talk about health insurance. Do you need health insurance? Don't forget to like, subscribe the YouTube channel, and follow us on all the other social media channels. See you.